Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Mauricio Pochettinho wants the Manchester United job. Pochettinho is ready to quit PSG and become Manchester United manager now. Pochettinho is unhappy in the French capital. Pochettinho has a full season left on his PSG contract. Sky Sports said yesterday that Mauricio Pochettinho is Man United's first choice to take over as manager next summer. Manchester United should have got Pochettinho after Jose Mourinho was sacked, but the club decided to go with Solskjaer instead. I think Pochettinho would be the right manager for Manchester United, even though he's hardly won anything. You know, Pochettinho is proven in the Premier League. Pochettinho did enjoy a 5.5-year tenure with Tottenham. And analysing the vast majority of his tenure at Tottenham were competing in and out of the top four. In 2018, Pochettinho guided Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final. I think Tottenham made a big mistake sacking Pochettinho. Before as well, Pochettinho managed Southampton, and he guided Southampton to their highest ever finish in the Premier League. Pochettinho is a far superior manager to Solskjaer, and I think if he came to Man United, he would get us back to that level where we should be at. He would suit the strappings of the club, and I think he would get the best out of these group of players. Now, I want to give you some more news on Zinedine Zidane. Zinedine Zidane to Manchester United is off, because Zidane is not interested in taking over at Manchester United, as he was approached by the club. Zidane doesn't feel ready for the Premier League at the moment. Zidane is wanted by PSG. Last week, it actually said that Zidane had pretty much agreed to take over the France job, and it said Zidane is not available until the summer, because the Man United board held talks with Zidane last week, and Zidane let the board know that he doesn't feel ready for the Premier League at the moment, and he prefers to take a break until the summer. And as you all know, Zidane's wife is not attracted to the idea of living in Manchester. Zidane is managerless because he left Real Madrid in the summer. And you've got to admire what Zidane did at Real Madrid. He won a lot of trophies with them, so reflecting on that, he's got a decent pedigree behind him. Zidane has never managed in the Premier League, so like I've already mentioned, it would be good for him to come and experience the Premier League. You know, I was hoping that Zidane's close relationships with Ronaldo and Varane would have persuaded him to join. Brendan Rodgers, he's still being spoken about as well, but he's dismissed the links to Manchester United. He said he's proud to be at Leicester. The other week, Brendan Rodgers was house hunting in Cheshire, and it did mention that Rodgers was the favourite to replace Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I'm hearing as well that Eric Ten Hag is interested in the Manchester United job. I presume a lot of United fans would take him. He's done a good job at Ajax. He's won a few trophies with them. He's been Ajax manager for 4 years. So there you go. Obviously, it said yesterday that Manchester United are looking for an interim manager until the end of the season. Yesterday, it got announced that Michael Carrick taken over as the interim manager following the dismissal of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Yesterday morning, Solskjaer was sacked by Manchester United as manager following the 4-1 defeat to Watford. And yesterday, Solskjaer gave a farewell interview, and towards the end of the interview, he got upset. Manchester United paid Solskjaer over 7 million because in the summer he signed a 3-year contract with an option of a further year. Solskjaer was in charge of Manchester United for almost 3 years. I'm surprised he lasted as long as he did. But the reason he lasted as long as he did is because he's a legend of the club. He always will be a legend of the club. You know, despite Solskjaer getting sacked, you know, we still adore him. Reflecting on what he's done for the club, at the end of the day, he was a very good player. He endured 11 years as a player for Man United. He flourished under Sir Alex Ferguson's guidance. His most iconic moment as a player was when he scored the winning goal in the Champions League final at the Nou Camp back in 1999. He won the club the treble, and that is the club's greatest achievement. And yes, Solskjaer did have a proven pedigree when he was a United player because he won a lot of trophies as a player, but unfortunately he had no proven pedigree as a manager. The clubs Solskjaer has managed in his managerial career, obviously he managed Manchester United's reserve team for a couple of years, he managed Cardiff. His record at Cardiff was terrible. The reason he got sacked from Cardiff is because he got them relegated. He only enjoyed a short tenure with Cardiff. He managed Molde. He enjoyed 2 spells at Molde. He won a few Norwegian titles and that with them, but they're not a big club. And obviously he managed Manchester United's senior squad. I do feel sorry for Solskjaer a bit, you know, because he did get a lot of abuse in the 4-1 defeat to Watford. Obviously Bruno Fernandes, you know, was defending Solskjaer. And reflecting on the poor performances, yes, Solskjaer was partly to blame because obviously his tactics and his team selections were questioned a lot, but not all of the blame stemmed from him. There was also players that had to take responsibility for those poor performances. You know, this season was Solskjaer's 3rd full season as Man United manager. And I did say, you know, this season was going to be massive for him. And reflecting on the signings Manchester United made in this year's summer transfer window, the pressure was always going to be on him this season. But Solskjaer was never capable of winning trophies as Man United manager, and of course he didn't win a trophy when he was Manchester United manager. Manchester United have not won a trophy since 2017. The expectations were far too high for Solskjaer to exceed as United manager. And he was in a position that he shouldn't have really been in. And Ole ran out of excuses, didn't he, a long time ago? Because we should have been doing much better. because, we enjoyed a very, very good summer transfer window this year, made 4 signings. 3 of the 4 signings were major signings, and Man United spent £141 million. Solskjaer received very good backing from the board in this year's summer transfer window. The Glazers backed him, Ed Woodward backed him, our director of football, John Murtaugh, backed him, and Darren Fletcher backed him. And Manchester United have got a very good squad. And I said it's a title-winning squad, so in reality, Manchester United should be winning the Premier League this season, or at least competing for the league. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013, but the reason we haven't been getting the best out of the players is because they have been a team of individuals. They haven't actually been playing as a team. And of course they weren't playing for Solskjaer anyway, so hopefully when we do get a full-time manager, the team will start playing again. Solskjaer did get appointed in as United manager in December 2018. In Solskjaer's first 3 months, he was the interim manager, and he did very, very well as the interim manager. So the club decided to give him the job on a permanent basis back in March 2019. But Ollie knew when he'd taken over at Manchester United it was going to be a massive job. Not only a massive job, a difficult job as well, despite him knowing the club through thick and thin, because Ollie was managing one of the biggest clubs in the world. And there was some positives to take from his managerial tenure. I think as United manager he did develop the youth well, he more or less giving everybody their chances to express themselves, like he sure they would do. In certain aspects he did bring consistency back. He made good signings when he was Man United manager. Solskjaer signed 14 players when he was United manager. And Man United spent over £400 million under the Solskjaer era. Solskjaer enjoyed like 5 transfer windows when he was United manager. He also got rid of a lot of players as United manager. He loaned players out and he got rid of a lot of players permanently. In Solskjaer's first full season he got us to 3 semi-finals and he got us a 3rd place finish. In his second full season he got us to the EFL Cup semi-final, the FA Cup quarter-final and the Europa League final, and that Europa League final was his first major final as Manchester United manager, but unfortunately he didn't win it and last season got a 2nd place finish. So some progress was made under him. Don't forget as well, when we had Solskjaer, we went on a 29-game unbeaten run away from home in the Premier League. It was Leicester that ended our unbeaten run away from home in the league. So they're the positives, but yeah, Manchester United certainly made the right decision sacking Solskjaer. He needed to go. I can't understand though why we didn't sack him after the 5-0 defeat to Liverpool, because if we'd have sacked him after that game, I can assure that Manchester United would have got Antonio Conte. After the 5-0 defeat to Liverpool, don't forget, it did say that Solskjaer had been given 3 games to save his job and he only won 1 of them 3 games. I'd have been very disappointed if we'd have had to stick with Solskjaer until the end of the season, but the club had to sack him, the club had no choice. By the way, Solskjaer is the 4th permanent manager to be sacked since Ferguson, because obviously Man United sacked David Moyes after 10 months. We sacked Louis van Gaal after like 2 years. Man United won the FA Cup under Louis van Gaal. And Manchester United sacked Jose Mourinho after like 2.5 years. Mourinho did enjoy one good season at Man United because he won 3 trophies in his first season. And of course Solskjaer has just been sacked. But Manchester United have not been the same team since Ferguson retired, and a lot of United fans predicted it was all going to go wrong when Ferguson retired, which obviously it has done. No one will replicate what Ferguson did. Ferguson brought success to Manchester United. He won 30 odd trophies, including 13 Premier League titles. But Fergie didn't settle in straight away because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at Man United. Does take some managers time to settle in. Ferguson was at Manchester United for like 26, 27 years, so he was a very long-serving manager. Players are going to be leaving Manchester United next year. Martial, there's a very good chance that he's going to be leaving next year. I think Cavani will be leaving next year. I think Mata will be leaving next year. It looks like Lingard is leaving next year, because not so long ago it said Jesse Lingard's future at Man United is in doubt after talks over a new contract collapsed. Lingard's current contract at Man United expires next summer. It said not so long ago that Lingard could leave for just £10 million. I'm hearing that West Ham want to re-sign Lingard. Well, at the second half of last season, Lingard enjoyed a 4-month loan spell with West Ham and he made an impact. West Ham tried to get him in this year's summer transfer window, but they were struggling to meet our £25 million asking price. And now we're hearing as well that Lingard wants to move abroad. Lingard doesn't really get in the team. He's only made one start this season. That was West Ham in the Carabao Cup. But Lingard has been part of the club for a long time. He risen up our academy, and that he's had his good periods at Man United. He's also had his bad periods. Van der Beek, I think he's leaving in January. Well, obviously before it announced that we sacked Solskjaer, Van der Beek did confirm he will be leaving in January. Van der Beek has not been given enough game time at Manchester United, so reflecting on that, I haven't had much of a perception on him, but in general he is a good player. Van der Beek came on in the 4-1 defeat to Watford and made an impact. He scored and he was trying to make things happen. That was Van der Beek's second goal against Watford for the club. That just proves that he doesn't play enough. Van der Beek's been at Manchester United for like a year and a half now, is it? And he's enjoyed a difficult year and a half at the club, and this season is his second full season at Man United. We got Van der Beek for 40 million with add-ons included. He's got a contract with Man United till 2025 with an option of a further year, and he's versatile. He can play in 3 different roles. Matic, I think there's a good chance that he's leaving next year. Matic isn't good enough to represent the club, and Matic isn't one of our first choice midfielders, but despite that, he still seems to get his opportunities. He played alongside McTominay against Watford, and I thought he was very poor. Surprisingly enough, Matic is ahead of Van der Beek in that midfield. I think Matic is the only predominant centre defensive midfielder that Man United have got. Matic has been at the club for 4.5 years. Man United paid £40 million for him from Chelsea back in 2017. Pogba, I think there's a good chance he'll be leaving next year. The other week it said Manchester United are prepared to sell Paul Pogba in the January transfer window. Well, it makes sense to cash in for him in January rather than let him go on a free next summer. Pogba's missing the rest of 2021 because he's out with injury. The other week, Pogba suffered a thigh injury in France training. Pogba may never play for the club again. I want Pogba to stay though because he is a good player. Not only a good player, he's an imperative player as well. I thought Pogba enjoyed a very good start to the Premier League season. So far in the league this season he's got 7 assists and he produced good performances for Man United in the last couple of months of last season, but at one point last season he was out with a thigh injury for a while. Yeah. Reports from France did say the other week that Pogba wants to renew his contract with Manchester United, but on one condition, that he's made the Premier League's highest paid player. So he basically said, I want to overtake Ronaldo as the highest paid player. At the moment, Pogba receives around 290 grand a week on his current contract. Pogba's current contract at Man United expires next summer. Before the start of this season, he rejected a new Man United contract offer. Pogba's had a long-running transfer saga. He's been linked with Real Madrid, he's been linked with his former club Juventus, PSG have been in for him, Barcelona have been in for him, and Inter Milan have been in for him before. Mino Raiola, who's Paul Pogba's agent, he's been working hard now for quite some time to get his client to move away from the club. This season is Pogba's 6th season at Man United since he rejoined. He's won 3 trophies at the club so far. Man United paid 89 million for Pogba, so reflecting on that, he's our most expensive signing at the moment. Tellez, I think he's going next year because Tellez doesn't really get in the team. You know, Tellez will only play when Luke Shaw's not available. I think Tellez will be in contention to play against Villarreal tomorrow because Luke Shaw suffered a head injury in the 4-1. What?
I'm going to get ready and go up to housing, up to community hub, and tell them I want someone else as always eating in that hot water. We'll go back out in the morning, right? I'm getting ready, I'm going up to tell them I'm not putting up with it.
But like I said, I haven't really had much of a perception on Tellez because doesn't really get in the team like I said. But in some of the games he's been involved in, he's done well. You know, Man United got Tellez in a deal worth 15.4 million with add-ons included. The reason we brought Tellez in was to provide competition for Luke Shaw. And Tellez was out with injury earlier on this season. Jones and Bailly, I think they're also leaving the club next year. I think Dalot's leaving the club next year. And I think Dean Henderson will go out on loan. Well, he's already confirmed that he wants to go out on loan because Dean Henderson doesn't get his opportunities now, does he? Because De Gea reclaimed that number 1 spot back. But like I say, you've got really good players at Manchester United. You know, you've got the likes of Rashford, Greenwood, Fernandes, Cavani. Got the best player in the world overall in Ronaldo. You've got Sancho, that's a good player overall, but he's been poor for Man United so far. But hopefully when we're getting full-time manager in, we can start getting the best out of Sancho. You've got Van der Beek, that's good. You've got Pogba, that's good. You've got Shaw, that's good, but Shaw's been terrible this season. You know, where's the Luke Shaw from last season? Because last season Luke Shaw was superb. He was far superior last season to how he has been so far this season. I'm convinced though, under a new manager, you know, Shaw will regain his form. You know, Maguire, you know, overall he's a decent centre-half, but hasn't proven how good he can be for Manchester United because he has been inconsistent in a lot of games. You know, Maguire's going to be missing the Chelsea game at the weekend because he got sent off in the 4-1 defeat to Watford. Maguire's performances have been worse since he come back from that calf injury. Hopefully under a new manager he'll regain his form. And you've got the likes of Varane, that's a very good centre-half, but he's out at the moment with a hamstring injury. I think he's out for another 2 to 3 weeks. That's the second injury he's endured since he signed for the club, because earlier on in the season he was out with a groin injury, and he was out with that groin injury for a few weeks. You know, you've got Baye, that's a good centre-half as well, but doesn't get regular game time. You know, you've got Bissaka, that's also good defensively, but the attacking side of his game is poor, and there is aspects of his game that have to improve. And you know, you've got David De Gea, that's a very, very good goalkeeper as well. He's done really, really well this season, to his credit. Anyway, on my next video, guys, I'll be giving you the match preview for the Villarreal Manchester United game. So drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.